Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today, and I will be sharing how to create the rainbow reveal card from our online class using Give It a Whirl dies, that one, and with Stella birthday. So we'll be decorating it just with the sentiment, which is have a Stella birthday, but most of the work will be from the Give It a Whirl dies. So use the PDF to know what to cut and what measurements the elements are. But first of all, you'll need to die cut the stitch front layer, which is this one. So it's got the hole in the middle already and stitching on the edges. 4 sets of stars in smoky slate and the scallop wheel as well. So as you can see, it does create embossing on the cardstock, and we'll use that for guidance on placements as well. You also need to die cut 2 small clouds, 2 medium clouds, and 1 large cloud, as well as the scallop wheel in basic white cardstock. So you'll have your card base as well in smoky slate, and score that in half. Okay, so pause the video so you can go ahead and die cut all of those and then resume playing when you have done so. So now you've die cut all of those, we're going to start off by creating our rainbow, and this one we're actually going to use the scallop basic white, and you'll need assortment of blends. So I've just used four colors, so then it's big enough but it's small enough to fit through and create that rainbow. So use whatever you have. I'm using Poppy Parade, Daffodil Delight, Balmy Blue, and Highland Heather. And with this one, you're gonna use the embossing detail to draw on the scallop wheel. So you start off with, if you can see, like there's the fan on one end, and use the edge around to create a semicircle rainbow. Okay, so use the brush tip, and we're just going to start off on the end and then draw a semicircle around. Now you can use circle die, layering dies to create your rainbow, but I thought I'll just show you how to use the dies already in the set. So you can see that the embossing is there, so you can stop just under there. So you can go over it and create intense colors. And it doesn't have to be a neat rainbow. I quite like the fuzzy edges. So this one, we're gonna carry on with the yellow. Again, using the brush end. And then the balmy blue. So I'm using the dark in each combo. There we go, and finally the Highland Heather. If you do find that your brush end it has become furry, you just need to make to draw the rainbow a couple more times or use a different color. So this one is on its way out. But I'm just going over it and making sure that the width of that line is pretty much the same as the rest of the other colors. And just double check the edge is kind of like similar ends. So I'm just gonna extend my blue in yellow. Maybe I shouldn't have colored that in, but that's fine. Cool, so now you have created your rainbow. We can fussy cut using paper snips. So again, because we use the edge, the embossing detail on the wheel, you can just use that to cut off around. And then do the same for the inner edge. But with that one, you can use the Stampin' blends. And then I'm just gonna cut around there. So I've used the other fan as a guide. So then we have kind of like a tab really to stick it onto the other wheel. Just extend that. Okay. So now we are going to use the embossing on the front layer. So this is the front layer. You have again the embossed horizontal line on there, and we're gonna create a slot on that. So you'll need a craft knife and a mat just to protect your surface. So it's good if it's gonna go around there. Maybe you want that slightly. Just make sure that your edge at the bottom actually is a lot smoother. Yeah, that looks okay. So you're gonna use the embossing on the front as well as the fussy cut rainbow to guide your cutting of the slot. So with the original, it kind of like stops that way. So either use a pencil, and I would say go up slightly bigger. So place it on there to whereabouts it's gonna stop, and then go slightly wider so when it comes out it won't hit the edge. Okay, so just use a craft knife and then just create that slot. In this one it's gonna get hidden anyway, so if it looks a bit, so if it's not straight, that's fine, as long as it's wide enough for the rainbow to come out of. Okay. So now we're gonna adhere the rainbow on our basic, no, smoky slate. So you can either just slightly bend up to help it raise up, but we can do that afterwards as well. So we're just gonna stick that on there, again using the embossed areas on there, and then adding that on. So at the back, add multi-purpose liquid glue, and then I'm just realigning that along the embossed line around the edge, and just touch up on your rainbow if there's any areas that you feel needs a bit more color. There you go. And you may want to secure it even more with either tape, Terran tape, or sellotape, just along that line, because sometimes if you do kind of like play with it a little bit too much, it might come off, which has happened to the original. So I've just got Terran tape. I'm just gonna secure it for add that on for extra securing. So now that is added on. And now we need our brad. So the round and square brads. So use any color actually. You can use white or black. I'm just gonna use black because I've been using the white quite a bit, and we're gonna just insert that through and insert that through there. You do need to make sure that you feed through your rainbow and then feed through the other hole from the wheel. Okay, and then spread that out. You can use your take a pick tool just to press that down. Yeah, test it out a couple of times just to make sure that it's not catching on that slot. So that is okay. And that's okay now. So I'm gonna add dimensional on the back of the wheel. Again, you can add tape again to secure the brad. So just normal sticky tape, clear tape, you can just secure that and then add dimensional at the back just to help raise the middle area. But I must stress that do not take off that backing. Okay, you need that backing to be in place. So this is just to raise the middle area, and you do not want that to stick onto the card front. Okay, so that's done. Oh, there we go. So hopefully if that happens, you can just lift it up and then it should still come out nice and smoothly. Now this time we're gonna add the large star and a medium star on there. So use multi-purpose liquid glue and then add it on the right hand side of your rainbow. Okay, and then add this with dimensionals, this the medium one. So just cut out a small piece or mini, have we got a mini one? And then this will just stop that from going back in to there, and just offset that. Okay, take off the backing. So now that you've added that stopper, it shouldn't go back in as well. Okay, and that is done. You can, if you want to, tidy up the edges with paper snips. So just take off and cut those edges at the end of the rainbow. Okay, now that's done, we can add, so take your card base, just prepare that and use your bone folder to secure, to burnish the fold, and we're going to use this to align. So where we're going to have, where we want it, we're going to add another Stampin' dimensional where the finger spinner is. This time we're going to add it on the card front. So around there, there. Again, with this one, you do not want to take off that backing. This is only to help raise that area, so it's easier to spin the wheel. Okay, and now we can add Stampin' dimensionals at the back of this, and these ones is gonna help raise all of the card front. So you can cut smaller ones and then just fit that in around the wheel. So you don't want any obstructions on the wheel. And you just want that around. And another one. Okay. So take off the backing except for that one, so you do not want that off. So the rest on the layer, you want to take those off. And you don't want to take those off, and we're just gonna add this on the card front. Turn it over and just press that along. Again, test your spinner and just double check that dimensional, that you haven't adhered the wheel onto the dimensionals. So do check that out before you continue, so you can quickly take it off and correct that if that has happened. So now we're going to stamp our sentiment in Memento ink and have a stellar birthday on the large cloud. You can use Stays On, and it might actually be better because Stays On is a lot darker than Memento. So kind of like have your cloud how you want it, and then just be aware of your placement. So more towards the right. and stamp. So it does fit in there, so just be aware that it's quite tight on there, or use a different sentiment from another set. And we can add this on to the card front using dimensional. So just one dimensional should be enough in the middle. So then it'll give us space to add the stars later on. So towards there, and use the sentiment collect edges to make sure that it's nice and straight on the card front. There we go. And now we can decorate with the rest of the clouds. So that's, I guess that's the medium one, or that, and that's the small one. So I've actually done one of there, and this one I've turned upside down, or it looks like upside down, and we're gonna hide the slot there. So add that using Stampin' Dimensional, and where this is gonna sit, so you do want to stop that even. So I've done it quite long, so you can have it up top here. So just make sure that you don't add it quite close to the finger space. Okay, so you can have that there, have that there. Okay, so add this first. Just be aware to not add glue where the rainbow is. So I'm gonna hide that off. And then this one, do we want that all the way up? So this one around here. So again, that one's kind of upside down, and then the other two, I'm gonna add on top with dimensionals. So you may need to cut into your dimensionals just to make sure that it's not too bulky. So if that's gonna cover that, again, you only want dimensionals along the base. And then stick that on, making sure that you're fully covering that the slot. Double check that it comes out okay and it doesn't get stuck. And it goes in. Where's that tape? Oh, there you go. So you do need to curl that cloud up so it goes in. Okay, and it hides on there. Now that tape I said earlier, you actually need to make sure that that doesn't come out. So if it does show the tape on there, just make sure to correct that. You can lift the edge off and then just insert the tape back in or cut it down slightly. Okay, and then just stick that down again. So a little troubleshooting there. So now that we have that, we want this to come out. If you want it all the way down, that's where you're gonna add your second cloud raised up. So that one can be added with dimensional in the middle. And then again, bear in mind the right hand edge. And that's where it's gonna stop. So it stopped because of the glue that we add, where we added that on. So if you want it to stop slightly shorter, then you just need to add glue. So for example, this one closer to the edge. So wherever you want it to stop. So if you want it like that, take note of it and then add glue like a lot more further up, if that makes sense. So hopefully it does. Put that back in. So I do want that slightly closer, or if you're happy with that, that's fine. I'll just add this higher there. Okay, again, test your rainbow that it comes out okay and it goes back in okay, because you may need to again curl the top edge of the cloud or even curl the up so it doesn't hit the clouds. Okay, you may need to add mini glue dot. So if you don't want to curl it, you may need to add mini glue dot onto here. I think I set that on the direction on top of so just to show you what I mean. I'm happy with it, but if you do find that it keeps sticking or hitting the cloud, just fold your mini glue dot and this will just add that extra height onto the card, the clouds. And then I'm just adding that on. So on the dimensional, and then stick that back down. And then just check. Okay, so it stops. You can see the dimensional stops it where the cloud is. So it's completely hidden, and then it stops when it's fully out. Okay, so now we're just gonna finish up with the stars. So 4 sets of stars, so you should have 4 of each. Now I'm just you've already used 2. We're gonna hide the brad with one of the large ones. just add that and then stick it down, and then place the rest where you want it. So medium, small, another large one here, medium, and a small one there, and another small one, and a large one there, and a medium there. Okay, and once you've done the placement, just add multi-purpose liquid glue and secure it. That's already done. This one. So adding that just one dimensional in the middle, it'll help you slot this in side. And then finally this one on the edge. Again, just go back in and just make sure it's properly adhered onto the card front. Okay, that's fine. And then finally the 5 silver metallic pearls to add wherever you want, but I'm just adding these onto some on the stars and some on the card front. So there we go. So I hope you are successful in creating the rainbow reveal card, and do share your creations on the Facebook group or on your social media. Tag us at Mitosu as well. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye.